Thanks. Wow, it's amazing being back here on Long Island again. I know most of you live here. I spent about 30 years at Stony Brook, and being an undergraduate and organizer with Red Balloon Collective. And Susan and I often locked horns. You know, she's a great person, great organizer. I actually rarely saw the side of Susan that was portrayed here. Usually it was we were in each other's faces screaming at each other. So I appreciate it greatly. We've lost so many good, great people these last few years. It is so depressing, right, as we get older. I'm just thinking of Michael Ratner and Maria Kurloff, Robert Knight, and Fidel.
And Che Guevara.
One person, please shout. I wanted to get everybody to shout out the name of a person you want to remember in this context. Just shout it out, everybody at once.
My mother, Emily Lehrman.
Emily Lehrman, shout it out.
Dick Gregory.
Dick Gregory.
Ruby D.
Ruby D. I don't need to repeat, just shout it out loud. What's it? Well, I think of a lot of people also.
Ella Abzo. Rick Money.
Louis Freyna.
What?
So, okay. I get it. So, this day, October 9th, is also the 50th anniversary of the murder of Che Guevara, 50 fucking years ago. It's pretty amazing, and I think of, we always use Che's quote over and over again in the movement, at the risk of seeming ridiculous, let me say that a true revolutionary is guided by great feelings of love. And I like to think about Susan too, but what about the first half? Why at the risk of seeming ridiculous? That's the part I always was confounded by. We have to, and we often did, risk seeming ridiculous. And Susan in those acting, it was amazing. She was, woo! And
Quite uninhibited.
right, and that we have to risk. We have to break out of the way we've been manufactured by this system. Susan was a bit nervous when I was asked to read poems at the coffee house, at the P. Smith Coffee House, because she had never heard my poems before. She only knew us wrangling. She had me and other folks from Red Balloon thrown out of a contingent in a march on the Pentagon because we carried a banner saying, if you need more energy, burn the bourgeoisie. And Susan, and then when we got to the Pentagon, so they asked us to leave. We had a nice big, and then we got there, our contingent was left. They were arresting everybody all around us, and for some reason our contingent was left. They didn't bother with us. So we did what any good radicals would do from Stony Brook at the time, and we all went up and we peed on the Pentagon. So this next week or 2 weeks is also the 50th anniversary of the big march on the Pentagon in 1967, October 21st. So there's a commemoration going on as well there. So I just wanted to read one poem that I read at P. Smith Coffee House, which made Susan a little bit nervous because I asked people to bang on things, and smash things in a rhythm. But I think we could do that too, not to smash things here in this beautiful place, but just set up a rhythm if you can. Dun, 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 dun. With enthusiasm, come on. Yes, we're still fighting. Yes, it seems hopeless sometimes. And yet, they took the wolves, the owls, our deer. They took our words and sowed the rain. They took our corn and coined the pastures. They took our pictures and stole the spirit. They took our forests and now gasp for air. They paved our paths, the running deserts, the corrugated streams. They took our time, the long silence between heartbeats. They took our shoes, still we are coming. Our feet wrapped in the skins of our dreams. For Susan, for Venezuela, for Cuba.